John Myrie. This episode is about, a legendary or a vet a veteran rapper named Lord Jamar. Very controversial figure once again. He represents the FBA. If you don't know what the FBA is, it's Foundational Black Americans. He's in the conscious community, if you want to call it that. He represents, he says he's a 5%er. And he got famous besides his rap career in the late 80s up to the mid 90s. He got famous, re-famous again, being on the popular platform VLAD. If you don't know who VLAD is, he interviews a lot of famous rappers, especially a lot of famous individuals, not just rappers, but a lot of big influencers. But recently, well, I shouldn't say recently, well, a couple years ago, Lord Jamar, basically after being on this man's platform a lot, Vlad's platform, something Vlad said about Farrakhan sparked something in Lord Jamar. It made a beef. It made Lord Jamar basically leave that platform, not going back on to Vlad's platform. That's what happened. He stopped going on Vlad's platform. Him and Godfrey, the comedian, who has his own platform now, he has his own podcast. Him and Godfrey basically made a decision to stop supporting Vlad because Vlad was disrespectful to black people and he was using them for his platform and he wasn't showcasing black people in the right spotlight, right? And ever since Lord Jamar kind of departed from Vlad, stopped going on his show, he had his own platform. Well, he has his own platform now, the Godcast or something like that. But and on the Godcast, he been pushing this whole FBA thing and pushing a lot of talking about a lot of stuff. Calling out people like Fat Joe, calling out a lot of the so-called tethers, people who are not FBA but they're black, a lot of things. But recently, he finds himself back on Vlad's show, and he wants to explain to people why he returned to Vlad's platform, which is kind of hypocritical. It's kind of sad that, especially for the people who support him in the FBA community, because he was really bunning or, like cursing out Vlad, right? For him being a culture vulture, all types of things. Yes, many episodes talking about Vlad, but now he's back on Vlad's platform. Bas To me, it's like he's apologizing and he's explaining what happened, the fallout, right? And you remember he had this beef against Fat Joe for a good while, calling him like, this guy is like saying stuff about using the N word and how he disrespects black people. This is Lord Jamar. But now he's on Vlad, the same guy who he said disrespected him. Will we see all of a sudden Lord Jamar make up with Fat Joe? Can a lot of you people from the FBA community really, really have confidence in Lord Jamar again? Because I don't know. I seen this coming because he sees that. This is my opinion. Fat Joe now has Jada Kiss, right, with him doing a podcast, and all of this ripping on Fat Joe really never helped Lord Jamar. It kind of helped Fat Joe. Fat Joe now has a platform with one of the top rappers in the industry. That is Jada Kiss. So me and my brother was talking about this just the other day on other episode. So does he feel that he needs to go on a big platform because I got the connections with Vlad. So I could probably get back into this game. Besides having my own platform, I need to be working with somebody because look at Fat Joe with Jada Kiss. They got a platform, and Jada Kiss is good with him. Even though I've been doing this campaign against them for so long, calling out Fat Joe, it didn't work. It did not work. So now he's back to Vlad. Mm, that doesn't look good. That's not a good look. I don't know how people look on it, but it's not a good look that you're back on the same guy you made a campaign about. And now you got Godfrey, right? The guy who was with you, dissing you, calling you a hypocrite because you went back on that man's platform and people thought you would never be on his platform. What's going on with this, right? The 5%er, right? The FBA Superman is back on Vlad. What's going on? That doesn't look good. That's not a good look. Very hypocritical, but he wants to explain himself what happened, the fallout between him and Vlad. Even though I'm go back on his podcast, unless he took that off, um, he was disrespecting Vlad a lot, disrespecting him. Godfrey recently called out Lord Jamar. Now, Lord Jamar, what's going to be the response to the community that supports you? What are you going to explain? How are you going to explain all of this going back on Vlad's show after calling him out, right? Basically saying he's racist and a culture vulture, but now you're back on his platform, right? I think the only reason he's on this man's platform is because he sees that Fat Joe is getting attention again. The same guy he thought he would bury, but it didn't work, right? Didn't work, brother. It didn't work what you're trying to do. He thought Fat Joe would disappear and everything. But look now, the man has a podcast with one of the top rappers or hip hop artists in history, Jada Kiss. Can't deny it, right? The man finds himself back on Vlad. That's sad. He's going to try to defend himself a lot. He will try to defend himself against all of this. I want to hear the response. I want to know what's the excuse right now. Like, why are you back on Vlad? What's the reason? What are you, after so long, you're back on that man's platform? What's the reason? I know what the reason is. I think I have a good, you know, I analyze it good. Why he's back on Vlad is because he sees Fat Joe on a platform with Jada Kiss and getting the attention and getting respect by the hip hop community, right? Respect he's getting. So whatever Fat Lord Jamar was saying, and he can't continue with it because if he continues, man, he's just gonna look even more bad, more worse. So he got to go on a big platform like Vlad to get something back. If Vlad paying him, Vlad claims that he doesn't pay anybody. But Lord Jamar, man, what are you doing? Like I thought you were sticking to your guns. So you're trying to explain the fallout that it's basically a mistake, a misunderstanding, right? And you were calling him out for a good while that he disrespected Farrakhan. Right. And not too long ago, just 2 months ago, you were on this whole FBA thing against Fat Joe and talking bad about Vlad, how he's a cultural vulture, ripping him up. But now you're on his platform. Make it make sense, man. You really look bad now, man. You lost a lot of points. First, it was with the flat Earth thing already. Like you look bad on that. You look bad for that. You look bad for that. The guy who you challenged came on and made you look bad. But people, please subscribe. Please subscribe. He claimed that he was drugged when he went on Godfrey's podcast. He claimed that he was, kind of drugged by the weed. What next, man? People make all types of excuses, but Lord Jamar is back on Vlad. Let's see how much more episodes he's going to be on, because he was a major face on that. Besides Tony Yeo, it was him. I was watching Vlad because of Tony Yeo and because of Lord Jamar. I have to admit, there's other rappers and other people who went on there, but Lord Jamar is very controversial. But he lost a lot of points with people like me, and I know he lost a lot of points even more right now with his audience. I want to see him go on live. I cannot wait till Lord Jamar goes back on his live and to see what the audience got to say about him. I know he'll cuss them out. He probably doesn't care, but at the end of the day, it's money. That's all he cares about. He cares about the money for his platform. And people, please subscribe if you want to support. There's the PayPal in the link, right? You can send any type of donation to the PayPal. It's in the link, all legit, to support the platform. Send some money if you can, right? Don't be a hater, be a participator. But yeah, Lord Jamar, man, you don't look good, man. You look really bad in the content space. You probably don't care because you're on Vlad, and Vlad will get you more views, straight up. People who don't know who you are, they will go check you out now because you're on Vlad. And it's sad that you went back to this man, the 5%er, the man who's the FBA, the man who was fighting for Farrakhan, back on Vlad. Why? I know why. The main reason is because of Fat Joe. He won't say it. The main reason he's back on Vlad is because of Fat Joe. Right? Is he gonna make up? If he can make up with Vlad, he's probably gonna make up with Fat Joe. If he can make up with Vlad saying Vlad was disrespectful to Farrakhan, that means he can make up with Fat Joe. And he probably will. I'm predicting that he's going to be making up with Fat Joe. I'm predicting that. Even though he said a lot of disrespectful things about Fat Joe. He said a lot of stuff. He said a lot of disrespectful things um, to about Vlad. He was talking a lot of disrespectful things. So you can't. Nowadays, a lot of people are kind of they're really funny. People, if they were real back in the day or whatever in the past, they're more faker than ever now. A lot of people don't stick by their guns, right? They will say something and like they're real about it, like they're about it, and then change up. A lot of people are fake. We're living in the fakest times right now. So 1 minute you're cussing out the man, you're disrespecting the man, you're exposing the man, and then all of a sudden you're on a show. So I won't be surprised you and Fat Joe, or you, will probably make up with Fat Joe. So all of this is, for my opinion, like I said, is for Lord Jamar to get more views, to get more viral attention, because the way how he was disrespecting Vlad, why would he care to go back? People say, why are you back on that man's platform? Guarantee people are asking that question. Why are you back on Vlad's platform? He has an explanation, right? I watched some of it. I'm going to watch more of it because there's plenty of clips. I want to see what what is what changed his mind. What made him go back on there? What made him go back? What did Vlad say to him? Right? What made him go back after all the disrespectful things he said, called him culture vulture, all types of things. Man, the FBA thing, right? Which they say it's not a thing, it's a lineage, but right now he's making that community or whatever, he's making that look real bad. I want to know the opinions from people who are really pushing this FBA thing on Lord Jamar, because he was basically the main leader, spotlighter of this whole FBA thing, right? And now, for some people, but they're probably calling him a sellout. They're probably saying and he probably don't give a damn because he just wants more views. He just wants more views on his YouTube channel, right? Fat Joe is doing it right now with Jada Kiss, and he's watching that 100%. He came out with some music. What happened with that, Lord Jamar? Where's that? What happened with that? He's trying all types of stuff and it ain't working, man. It's very sad. Very, very sad. He went back to the platform, what brought him or made him known to more people recently. And then Godfrey, your friend or your ex-friend, calling you up because he was also an individual. Well, he didn't go back to Vlad, and he said he is never going back to Vlad. He basically stuck by his guns. So now you look like a fool, right? Godfrey didn't go back, I guess, because him and Godfrey have beef even before all of this, disagreements, because Godfrey put somebody on his show that made Lord Jamar look bad. I guess this is revenge. Is it revenge because Godfrey put a guy to battle you about the flat earth stuff? And you claim that you were drugged, your weed was whatever laced, and you didn't know what to say, and basically saying you're high. That's why you couldn't debate. You're saying you're set up. That's why you could not debate. I'm just saying, right? Lord Jamar doesn't look good, but I don't think he gives a damn. I don't think he cares. But I want to see the responses. There's probably some good responses on his YouTube, like on all of those lives he was talking about FBA, all those lives he's talking about Vlad. What, he's gonna delete them or he's gonna keep them? Because the next live he does, it's not gonna look good. Talking about Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar's back on Vlad, the same man who dissed Vlad a couple years ago, and now he's back on there. He was calling him culture vulture, calling him all types of names on his platform. But now he's back on the show. He came off the show because he said Vlad disrespected Farrakhan. But now he's back. And I'm saying the only reason he's back is because of Fat Joe, right? It's because of Fat Joe and Jada Kiss show. He's seeing that Fat Joe is still hip hop with Jada Kiss. And he had a beef for the last 3 months or so against Fat Joe, right? Yeah, it makes sense for him to go back on Vlad because he wants, it's like a battle. This is a content battle for Fat Joe to be on Jada Kiss. He didn't destroy his career. He wanted to destroy Fat Joe's career. They wanted to see him gone from the hip hop community. That's what was going on. They wanted to see him gone. Well, he wanted to see him gone, and his people, Lord Jamar. They wanted to see him gone. Now, what are they're saying? Because he uses the N word on which show, Matt Hoffa's show, and other in his history of being a hip hop artist, saying that he should not be using those words, and basically an episode responding back to Fat Joe because Fat Joe's justifying himself using the N word, and that's what sparked this whole beef. Well, the beef, what in Lord Jamar's head against Fat Joe. That's what happened, right? So that's the reason they had a beef because Lord Jamar used it's this whole hip hop thing. There's been a fight who created hip hop. Was it the FBA, the Foundation of Black Americans, or was it the Hispanics or the Jamaicans? So there's been a whole fight, right? What's going on? And straight up, it seems like some, not all, the FBA people, some of them have issues with other types of blacks if they're not born in America, foot like generational. That's another subject. So he had a whole campaign against people who are Puerto Ricans and saying they're outsiders or something like that. They're just participators. And that made a whole beef going on with people who support, the people like Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans saying, yeah, they're part of the culture. They were, he's saying they're guests, but they did not create hip hop. It's FBA. So that's where it started from. And Fat Joe was just he's a victim of this whole thing. He's a victim. He picked a guy who likes to use the N word, right? But Fat Joe has his justification saying that he grew up around a lot of FBA or black people, and he claims himself as black. Using the N word. Is he black? No, he's Puerto Rican, but you would call him, I guess, white or Euro Puerto Rican because there's Afro Puerto Ricans too, right? But Fat Joe is not like dark, so he's Puerto Rican. That's who uses the word, who was used, and he's a hip hop artist, a legendary hip hop artist, Fat Joe. If you don't know who Fat Joe is, you could look him up, right? And now he has a podcast with Jada Kiss. So that's a little bit of the backstory. But now, right, Lord Jamar is back on VLAD, another guy he had beef with, right? He was first friends with him for a while, and then he had beef with him because he said something about Farrakhan, right? Let me see. So understand. I'll be back, bro. Bless up. Yep. Bless. Please subscribe if you can. But yeah, it's kind of hypocritical right now. Kind of very it's hypocritical. Hypocritical. Lord Jamar. How much other people are calling him out? I think people are starting to, watch the Vlad, and then they're taking in the past couple last 3 months, and it doesn't look good. Yeah, you know who Lord Jamar is, right? Or Fat Joe, which one? Yeah, man. Fat Joe is back. Like it or not, like him or not, Fat Joe has a show with Jadakiss, and it's doing pretty good. I heard when it first came out, last month? It's about a month, maybe a month. It's the top podcast on Apple Podcast. It's one of the top podcasts right now. Joe and Jada. They're talking about a lot of hip hop stories in the past and stuff. I don't know if they'll bring up Lord Jamar. Maybe that's why Lord Jamar is going on Vlad, because maybe he's scared. Maybe there's a story Jada Kiss knows about Lord Jamar. I don't know. We shall see. But it's just so funny. A man who was preaching hard against a platform, all of a sudden he's on, he's back on. So anything's possible. Maybe Drake and Kendrick Lamar will make up, right? Because Kendrick Lamar is going to be in the six. I think what's the date? I think he's going to be in this Toronto in 2 days. Yeah, Drake City. So maybe they're making up too. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. If Lord Jamar could make up with Vlad, that means anybody could come together. Anybody could come together. It's crazy. Oh, but please subscribe, people. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. not a good look. Brother, please, please don't do this again. Do not do this again. It's not a good look. Okay? It's not a good look. Be real, like what you would say in hip hop. Be real, right? Going back on Vlad after disrespecting him for months. So I'm guessing we're gonna soon see you talking to Fat Joe. I don't know, man. But people, please subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. This is the Down to Earth podcast, the Down to Earth network, with your host Sean Myrie. Out. Bless.